Good evening, my Rosalynds and Rosikins. Mother is back, and in this episode of our Privileged Plights series that I created and coined, Privileged Plights, Privileged Plights. I'm gonna say it again. Okay, cool. It's a tongue twister. We're gonna talk about how no one ever understands why we are always alone. And I want to first start off by saying that I feel like there's different reasons for every single pretty girl, right, to express why they are alone. But what I've come to realize that for a lot of us, the brown slash dark skin exoticals and other exoticals as well, that what I've heard across our community is that a lot of us are alone due to traumatic experiences with others, whether it's man or woman or our peers, right, or even adults, especially like from our childhood, right? And it's also a sense of personality as well, right? As you know, I'm a Scorpio woman, and I have always been the type to listen more than to try to be friends with someone. I'm very observant, and I pick up on energy very quickly, even when I don't want to. But I'm going to start with my point about trauma. So, what I've realized growing up is that people would try to befriend me and be around me just to use me, or they would sexualize me. Um, and that their intentions, right, were not pure. They wanted something or to try to humble me. A lot of times I was bullied growing up. I was, it was very traumatic for me growing up. I was considered weird. I was called ugly. I went through a lot of different things growing up, right? And so that plays into part of why I am the way I am to this day, where I don't like to be touched. I don't like people all up in my business. I don't like people all around me. I don't like people keeping tabs on me. I don't like people all up in my face giggling, kiki, haha. I don't want to go around a lot of people. And that was just from childhood right there, right? And then you take it up a notch when you step into your womanhood. You step into your pretty privilege even more so than you did before, because at one point you had, a little girl privilege, pretty privilege. But now you have, and oh, also you could guess it, the girls that would call me ugly. You guessed it, unambiguous black women. But yeah, very interesting, right? So the thing is that too, at the time when that was happening, I was struggling with my own beauty, right? Like my mom, she didn't really know how to do my hair like that. And I would like try different styles that didn't always come out right. So I did go through a rough patch at one point with my beauty. But at the end of the day, I still was beautiful. I just had a hard time seeing it. And it also caused body dysmorphia, if I'm being quite honest with the way that I perceive myself. Like sometimes I still see myself as the version of me that didn't understand how to nurture her beauty because I was a child, right? And so even as a grown woman, I get triggered very quickly when it comes down to things like that. And that's why I made a video saying to protect your beauty, protect your hair, protect all these different things about you, my Rosalynds, because these hyenas don't care. They will hurt you, right? They will hurt you. And even men will join in, right? So just be careful. And so what I want to say though is when you step into your beauty as you grow older, right? So I glowed up about a good 2 times in my life. And now I'm on my like third glow up journey. And it's going magnificent. Anyway, let me not brag. But the point is that I want to be alone even more than ever now. I don't really want people in my grill. I don't want social problems, right? I realized that people have a preconceived notion. Like even in college, I didn't even really talk to anybody. I only had like two best friends throughout my whole entire time in college, and people think I was stuck up, even though I never said anything about anybody. I mind my business. I got my straight A's. Period. I worked my little 3 jobs. Get it? I handled my shit, and people always got something to say. Okay, and you guessed it, they were mostly women and then some men, but there were men that wanted to get with me that I didn't want to get with. Like I said, I'm not a whore. I'm not trying to be um, a notch on someone's son's belt during his college years to say, oh, yeah, I had her back then. No, you didn't have shit. Okay. What you had was a look and a walk. Okay. And that was me looking at you, then walking away. So I was not going for the bullshit. I'm not. I just am not. To this day, I'm still not. Um, So yeah, and it just makes me feel like, okay, so you're gonna misunderstand me whether you think I'm cute or not. At this point in my life, given what I went through childhood and now as a grown woman, having the ultimate versions of my pretty privilege that are still growing, as we all continue to level up as pretty women, right? So I just decided at this point, fuck y'all. Disrespectfully, fuck y'all. I don't want you around me. I don't need to be in your face. I don't need to go to any event. I could just chill in my room and have the time of my life by myself. And that also plays into my Scorpio personality, I will say. As a Scorpio woman, I realized that I am the type that you could take me or leave me. It's either people really are with it, they're loyal to me, or they're fake. It's one or the other. It's never in between. It's never in between for me. And I realized that most people in life are going to look out for themselves, so I act accordingly. And as a pretty girl, the way that you act accordingly is that you create space for yourself. And by create space for yourself means do not let infiltrators in. That means that you stick by yourself and you are true to yourself. And you realize, as Beyonce said, in me, myself, and I, hallelujah, that you are your own best friend. Okay? And so, yes, I'm going to be alone. I'm going to eat alone at the army eatery establishment. I'm going to walk alone to the fucking park and get on the swing set and put my headphones in and have the time of my life as I'm swinging away. I am going to go to the library and check out werewolf and vampire books and fairy tale books and books about different cultures around the world, right? I'm going to do that, and books about how to enhance your beauty and possibly magic. I'm going to do all that. I'm going to do all that. And you know what else I'm going to go do? I'm going to go take myself out if it's that deep, or have a date night inside with myself. I will do all this by myself happily, because that means I don't have to deal with jealousy, envy, fakeness, and someone trying to harm me because they see me as a threat, or, as we all know, as brown dark skinned articles, trying to humble us above everything else. Because I'm gonna be honest, it gets to me at times. And this is why I'm going to touch more on body dysmorphia, I feel like, throughout my videos. I might do a separate video for body dysmorphia by itself, but the way that people play with your brain as a pretty girl, right? As a brown cis dark skin alcohol, especially, that shit gets to you. Especially within the Black community, that shit gets to you. It causes you to have a body dysmorphic mindset where you start, like I said, about not being a social justice warrior for unabused Black women, taking on the mantle of their plights, right? And you start to forget your own, right? Especially if you're more Black passing than others, right? Because at the end of the day, for me, there's brown dark skin exoticals, there's ambiguous Black women, and then there's exotic Black women, which I classify as in general those three things, right? But there are some brown dark skin exoticals, dark skin exoticals, who have certain features that are more so leaning towards a different racial group than that of more so the Black community, but they're dipped in chocolate. Like I said, that's what a brown dark skin exotical is. And like I said, it's a range of exoticalness, right? And so when you wear your hair a certain way, when you do certain things with your body, when you have a certain body type, people might stamp you as, oh, she's, a Black woman, which you are, or a brown suggestion exotical, you are. However, you might start to feel that you have the same plights as an unambiguous Black woman, because you're either around them or they're trying to grab a hold of you. And I realized that too, which plays on my fucking mind, right? Because it's like trying to victim bond with you when you're not a victim, but you convince yourself you're a victim because you see the world through their lens, right? When it comes down to your beauty and your features, right? And so I struggle with that too sometimes. I do. I do. I feel like when people try to humble me, it's like sending a message like, yeah, you got pretty hair, you got pretty features, you got this, you got that, but you're not all that. You just Black at the end of the day. That shit gets to you, right? And it creates body dysmorphia because it makes you feel like, okay, so even if I was just Black at the end of the day, why are you trying to make it seem like it's a bad thing or not beautiful? And then you start wondering your self-worth because you are a brown slash dark skinned melanated woman. Regardless of your features, you have that skin tone. And so when people start acting like having that skin tone is a curse and not a privilege, then you start wondering, well, am I delusional to think that I am beautiful even though I have this skin tone, right? And you're not even thinking about the other benefits you have: texturism, featureism, pretty privilege, etc. You're just stuck on certain things. And so, especially depending on who you're around. And that's why I say brown, dark skin, alcohols, Rosalind's, make sure that you are only with women who share your phenotype. And if you do happen to be with an unambiguous Black woman as a friend, Make sure that she is a pretty one, that she stands on her beauty, her authentic beauty as an unambiguous Black woman. But first and foremost, make friends with other exoticals. I don't care what no one says. I don't care how bad that sounds. It's just the truth. Because what I realized is exoticals never bullied me. Other exoticals have never bullied me. They have never talked shit about my features, my looks, my beautiful hair. They've never like tried to make me feel like I wasn't that bitch, right? What I realized about other exoticals and myself included, we won't even say anything about your looks. If we think that you're not attractive, we just won't say anything in regards to it. But we will still treat you like a person because you are one. You're a woman at the end of the day. But with unambiguous Black women that I realize, they will literally clown your ass. They will track you through the fucking mud, no chill, no filter. Right? And I feel like a part of it is also due to the culture. The culture is brash, it's blunt, it's fucking lethal. Right? Since I am a part of the Black community as well. It just is. And I know this, especially the Black African American community. And your girls be having no chill. Anyway, so it's just so many things that contribute to why I feel the way I do about being alone, right? And so I'm very introspective about why is it that I do like to be alone. And I also feel too that no one can hurt you when you're alone. Sure, I might cry in the corner sometimes because I might get sad that it has to be this way, but I know that it's for the best because no, it's for the best, right? And I realized that it's better to have no one than someone that's going to kill you slowly in your life, be it family, friends, romantic partners. And being pretty, you have all the privileges in the world, right? As an exotical in general. You have pretty privilege, you have texturism, you have featureism, right? You have DNA privilege. You have so many different privileges, multicultural privilege, multiracial privilege. You have people that are willing to provide for you because you are attractive. People willing to hire you for jobs that others can't get because their looks stop them at the door. Like you literally have a superpower as a beautiful ass woman, as a beautiful ass exotical, as a beautiful ass brown dark skin exotical, okay? As a Rosalind. You have the superpower. And people hate you because of it. People want to humble you because of it. Your own family speaks down on you because of it. They will never understand your plight as a pretty girl, and they will damn sure never understand your a privileged plight as a blonde, dark skin exotical. They just won't get it. They can never, especially if you have unambiguous Black family members. They just won't get it. I also realized the dynamic of the women who really like spoken to me were a mixture of unambiguous Black women and exotic Black women in my family and other exoticals in my family, right? But I also realized that some were envious, that were straight unambiguous, and that were not even like blood related, but were like familial ties related, like, you know, the friend of the family, etc. It's just like, no. And something that I think about too is what Exoticals United had said. Like, your pretty privilege can also be a curse depending on like where you are, what community, what atmosphere, what situation, what environment. And I feel that in certain environments, our pretty privilege is actually a threat and it's dangerous for us. And so that's why I also feel like being alone is safer. I just feel like it is. I feel like emotionally it's safe, physically it's safe, mentally it's safe, and beauty wise it's safe because no one's going to try to sabotage your beauty, right? I think about stories where people get jealous of a pretty girl so much they throw acid in her face anonymously and known, right? Like, no, no, we don't want them problems. It's just better to limit your connections and limit people's access to you for your own protection and your own peace of mind. And a lot of times, too, people try to get close to you as a brown to dark skin exotical. All they want to do is get details on your life so they could go and share it and gossip. Because, as Exoticals United has said, we get treated like celebrities. Exoticals do get treated like celebrities, and it's fucking a lot to handle, and it makes you so self conscious that you just want to shut out all the voices in your head that are reminding you of your flaws, your shortcomings, trying to humble you. Because, you know, we hear people's voices in our heads. We hear reminders like, you know, you looking in the mirror, you think you fine tonight, you know, you have a cute little black dress on, do you think about something your mother said a long time ago? All a man gonna want you for is your looks. Or you think you're that bitch, but you're not, as my ex tried to humble me before by saying. And I talked about that in that video I did about privileged plights, and I talked about toxic boyfriends, right? So like things like that, you hear that shit and it plays with you. So instead of putting yourself in a situation like that again, you just distance yourself from everybody. And then people think you're stuck up, so you can't win, even if you're doing it to protect yourself, because they're going to think that you have something personal against them because they feel like they should have permission and access. They have a right. They feel entitled to your beauty, to your presence, to your energy, you know, to your body, right? So it's just like so many things that contribute to why us as brown stars, dark skin exoticals don't really fuck with nobody. And exoticals in general, pretty women in general, we don't fuck with people. People will try to fuck with us, but we don't fuck with them. Respectfully, we don't. Because we know that once we let you into our lives, you're going to do something fucking fatal or something damn near fatal and traumatize us even more, right? Like it's just scary. It's scary. It's very scary. Um, and I understand that these plights a lot of people can't relate to, but if you are a beautiful girl, you can relate to all of these. And it troubles you. It troubles you. So yeah, we be in our own world. I know I for sure do. I don't care. I don't want to talk. I don't want to give you leverage over me. I don't want you to use something that I share with you that might be vulnerable for me because I trust you, and then you stab me in the back, in the heart, right? I don't want you to invalidate my beauty that I know that I have, but because I have dealt with so much trauma and I deal with mental health, that it's going might trigger me just being in your presence because you might get triggered by the fact that I'm pretty, and then you're going to say something that reminds me of the traumas I already went through and overcame, or thought I did, or are working on right now currently. So again, I'm so sorry, Rosalynds, that you have to go through this, and I know it's hard, but honey, you got to be your own best friend. And I know that's why you are your own best friend because of all the things I talked about. And if there are certain things I didn't mention that you might want to touch more on, put it in the comment section because these are conversations we need to have to heal, right? These are conversations that will make us better women at the end of the day and even more prettier and even more untouchable and unattainable to those who try to diminish our light. Because these are our plights. These are our privileged plights, and no one could tell us shit because we lived it. We are living it, and we're going to continue to be living it as beautiful brown dark skin exoticals. So yeah, and with that, mother is going to say ciao.